Before we get into today's video, please quickly check below to see if you've subscribed. It's totally free and allows you to never miss one of our videos. This is an important announcement from Lord Metal, Supreme Leader of the planet Zegak and the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Council of the Milky Way and Triangulum Galaxies, blared from everyone's TVs. When the Galactic Council had something to say, they broadcasted it on every channel across their 2 galaxies. Every channel other than the ones broadcast on Earth. Due to Earth's refusal to recognize the Galactic Council's authority or comply with the laws and regulations set forth by the Galactic Council, the use of all languages originating from Earth and its related properties are henceforth banned on all planets and related properties under Galactic Council authority. Starting from Galactic Standard Date 0045.001.02, the Galactic Council will no longer be producing broadcasts in any Earth language. We encourage all humans loyal to the Galactic Council to learn a second language that is recognized by the Council, such as Nalurik. Dr. Mirren Callan couldn't believe what she was hearing. As Zeltharion's top xenolinguist and Earth's primary ambassador, she had spent her entire life campaigning for humanity's place in galactic society. Back in the Galactic Standard Year 0020, 20 years after the formation of the Council, Mira was essentially the middlewoman in communications between Earth and the Galactic Council, who both refused to communicate with the other directly during the period where Earth was considering recognizing the Galactic Council. This obviously didn't go anywhere, and for the past 25 years both sides had been at odds with each other. The Council had tried to offer Earth many deals they'd never considered offering any planet before. Their final offer, back in 0033, was that Earth could be largely self-governed, but would still have to follow the core laws set forth by the Galactic Council, and in return they'd receive full military support from every planet governed by the Council. Intergalactic war was rare but not unheard of, and they'd be placed in the 5th sector of the Council, the most important sector where only the most influential planets, like Zegak, Mars, and Asteron, make highly classified decisions about the state of the galaxies. As much as the Council hated Earth, they knew it still held value to them. Earth occupied a critical position in the Milky Way. It was the most used waypoint and hub for interstellar travelers and traders. Billions of people and goods went through Earth every day, which made the United Government of Earth's countries a lot of money. Over the years, the Galactic Council had lost trillions having to pay Earth to use their planet. Trillions they never would have had to pay if Earth recognized their authority. By 0036, the Galactic Council officially gave up negotiations with Earth, and by 0038, they announced their plan to de-Earth the galaxies by lowering their reliance on, and in turn acceptance of, Earth. The de-Earthing plan was highly controversial, with groups like Dr. Mira's Planet 2, named after her famous speech, Earth is a Planet Too, being highly critical of it.
A healthy relationship with Earth and its people is essential for our galaxies to run efficiently,
declared the activist during her award-winning speech. Humanity's supporters across the galaxies were eagerly waiting for Mira to make a new speech responding to the Council's warning, but little did they know she was planning for much more than a simple speech. Shortly after the Council's announcement, and just as Mira was about to start planning her response, she received a HoloLink chat invitation. The sender's name confused her, or lack thereof. The Galactic Council's HoloLink Misuse Act of 0021 made it so someone's full name always appeared to the recipient of a HoloLink chat invite.
How strange, Mira thought. I thought only politicians could hide their names.
Her thoughts were correct, as when she accepted the invite, Primarch Valith Solarin, leader of the planet Zetheria's green face, filled her holopanel's display.
Valith, what's up?
asked Mira confusedly. The two had met before at a conference for interplanetary peace on the Ether Veil, a property jointly owned by Earth and the Galactic Council, and both shared a vision of synergy between Earth and the Council. Primarch Solarin was a vocal critic of the de-earthing campaign, and the two had begun to plan ways to bring their vision to reality. Shortly after this, Primarch Solarin was offered a job in the 4th sector of the Galactic Council, a job which he took, and promptly never spoke on Earth issues again. Mira suspected he had been paid off to drop the difficult subject of Earth, especially because she had learned at the conference that he was half human on his mother's side. "I don't have much time," uttered the Primarch. "They're going to perform a hostile takeover of Earth. The language stuff is just step 1 in their plan to vilify humans." Mira, stunned, opened her mouth to respond, but before she could begin to think of what to say, Primarch Solarin declared, "I've got to go. Save them, Mira," and hung up. She knew she had to save Earth, but had no idea how she was going to pull it off.
"Not you again, Mira! How the hell do you keep getting my number?"
demanded President of the UGEC, Evelyn Cade. She was sick of hearing from Mira, but Mira knew her best chance at saving the Earth would be one final effort to unite the two sides, and that wasn't gonna be possible without cooperation from them. Mira considered contacting Earth through official means, but she knew this was important and had to be brought to the top, something she didn't trust UGEC to do.
"I've just received some news from a 4th Sector Council member,"
spoke Mira, but before she could continue, Evelyn cut her off.
"I don't care about that stupid council, Mira. Whatever they're doing, I couldn't care less."
Mira quickly responded.
"Even an invasion of Earth?"
Confused, Evelyn asked,
"What are you talking about?"
Without missing a beat, Mira told her.
"The de-earthing campaign is just a front for the Galactic Council to invade Earth, strip it of its resources, and probably use it as the galaxy's main port."
President Evelyn said nothing in response for a few seconds, and the silence was deafening. Mira knew each second desperately counted if she wanted to save the planet she had such affection for. She considered yelling down the phone at the president to hurry up, but knew the slightest wrong move could jeopardize everything. She'd been planning her whole adult life for a chance like this, a chance to save the Earth and potentially reconcile the Earth and the Galactic Council. Now that the chance was here, her mind was blank and she had no idea what to expect. Finally, after what felt like hours to Mira, President Evelyn spoke up.
"How quickly can you make it to Earth?"
Mira pondered it for a second, taking into account travel times, space traffic, and the best mode of transport.
"I'm only on Venus," she said. "I could probably get a Zoth Express to Earth in about 30 minutes. "That's not quick enough," responded President Evelyn. "I'll send you out a UGEC cruiser and it'll bring you to Earth much quicker."
Mira was confused.
"But I thought you weren't supposed to send those out to non-Earth citizens on Council-ran planets. It goes against the Galactic Council's Interplanetary Travel Act."
The president responded.
"Well, we're not exactly known for following the Council's laws, are we?"
Mira knew this was going to be a very difficult mission. The president continued.
"Anyway, if we can get you to Earth, then I can assemble you a task force to help save our great planet."
The conversation continued for a few minutes before Mira's UGEC cruiser pulled up on Venus. UGEC cruisers typically featured a lot of Earth's logos and symbols, but this one was completely blank and nondescript. The driver greeted her and set the cruiser to hyperspeed. Hyperspeed travel was illegal in Galactic Council territory for all vehicles except emergency services. Galactic Council operated only, not Earth emergency services, and vehicles carrying Council officials. Mira wasn't shocked, though. It was a known secret Earth and the UGEC flouted the Council's travel rules, as the Council technically couldn't do anything. Earth didn't recognize their authority, and the Council had to maintain a superficially good relationship with Earth to use them as a port and travel hub. Mira stepped out of her UGEC cruiser and officially arrived on Earth. She recognized her surroundings as being in the United Kingdom, most likely London. She was greeted by some nameless UGEC agents who escorted her to UGEC's London HQ. Mira began walking down the seemingly endless corridors. She passed doors with signs like Department of Intergalactic Relations and Negotiations, Resource Allocation and Space Logistics Division, and Office of Galactic Law Resistance Strategies. She turned a corner, passing a door with a sign reading Hyperlane Traffic Control Authority, where she was then approached by President Evelyn.
"Hello, Mira," she began. "I've assembled your task force, and they're the best of the best. Come with me."
The president opened a door, the only one in the corridor with no sign, and revealed a small conference room with a round table. All seats at the table were taken by people Mira vaguely recognized, or didn't recognize at all. The president gestured towards the different people sitting at the table.
"This is Corey Durst, one of UGEC's top strategists. This is Congressman Zintharix, a council member from Neptune that's sympathetic to Earth's cause. And this is Lily Bathory, one of Earth's most skilled hackers. She was responsible for the UGEC data leak a few years ago. After we found out the brilliant way she hacked into us, we offered her a job."
President Evelyn continued, her tone steady but urgent.
"The Council's language ban is only the beginning. If we don't act fast, Earth will be completely isolated before the end of the week."
Mira sat at the round table, studying the faces before her. Corey Durst, the strategist, was a wiry man with sharp eyes and a perpetual smirk that suggested he was always 3 steps ahead. Congressman Zintharix, though humanoid in shape, had a shimmering blue skin tone and faintly glowing eyes, his expression grave yet hopeful. Lily Bathory, the hacker, leaned back in her chair, her neon green hair a stark contrast to the sterile white walls of the room. She tapped idly at a small handheld device, clearly itching to get to work.
"We need proof," Mira began, her voice steady. "We need undeniable evidence that the Galactic Council is planning to invade. If we can expose their plans to the galaxy, we can force them to back down."
Corey nodded, his smirk widening. "And if we can't?" he asked, though it was clear he already knew the answer.
"Then Earth becomes a footnote in galactic history," Mira said bluntly. "That's not an option."
President Evelyn crossed her arms.
"Mira, the clock is ticking. What do you need?"
Mira thought for a moment, then spoke quickly.
"First, access to the Council's internal communications network. We need to hack into their secure databases. Lily, can you handle that?"
Lily grinned, flipping her handheld device into her palm.
"I've been hacking UGEC and Council systems since I was a teenager. This is just another Tuesday for me, but I'll need access to a major relay station."
President Evelyn glanced at Corey, who was already typing something into his tablet. "I'll arrange it," Corey said. "There's a relay hub on the outskirts of the city, heavily guarded, but nothing we can't handle."
"Good," Mira said. "Congressman Zintharix, we'll need your help too. Any connections you have left in the Council? Anyone sympathetic to Earth can give us an edge."
Zintharix nodded, his glowing eyes narrowing in concentration.
"I'll reach out discreetly, but I must warn you, my influence is limited. If the Council discovers my involvement, they'll have me executed."
"We won't let it come to that,"
Mira assured him. She turned back to President Evelyn.
"We also need to buy time. Delay the Council's next moves. Anything you can do to create diplomatic noise, do it."
Evelyn frowned.
"Diplomatic noise won't stop an invasion." "No, but it might slow them down," Mira replied. "We only need a few days."
Corey leaned forward, his smirk gone. "We've got one shot at this, Mira. If we fail—"
"We won't,"
Mira interrupted, her eyes blazing with determination.
"We can't."
For a moment, silence fell over the room. Then President Evelyn nodded.
"You have everything you need. And remember, this is an off-the-record mission. I cannot help you with this any more than I already have, and I can only offer you immunity for whatever crimes you'll have to commit to make sure the plan works. Get to work, and good luck."
Mira stood, feeling the weight of the mission settle on her shoulders. The task force rose with her, ready for the impossible. The race to save Earth had begun. Dr. Mira and her team headed towards the relay station. They took the holotube to the outskirts of London, but that wasn't enough. Relay stations are usually far from civilization to prevent interference. Corey had hoped to call a UGEC vehicle, but none were available, and as this was a top-secret mission, he wasn't able to overrule any of the other reasons UGEC agents required the vehicles. A terrestrial cruiser passed them and hit the red light outside of the holotube station. Corey approached the cruiser and signaled for the driver to open his window.
"Hi there. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to use your cruiser."
The driver looked up at the motley crew in front of him and began preparing to speed off. Quickly, Corey said,
"Sorry, we're UGEC agents. We're not thieves,"
and pulled out his work ID to show the man. He reluctantly agreed, and the team got inside the cruiser, then sped off for the relay station, leaving the driver with his hands angrily tucked into his pockets on the sidewalk. The relay stations in London and the southeast of England were some of the most important on the whole of Earth, and due to this, an invisible field was put around all of the relay stations in that region to prevent them from being seen from far away, especially from up above where they could be susceptible to attacks from other planets.
"I think we're close,"
Lily Bathory said, and just as she said it, the team entered into the invisible field. The relay station popped into their vision from a distance. Corey depressed the brakes, bringing the vehicle to a stop, and said,
"Okay, we're here. Now we just need to get in there. I've been given President Evelyn's permission to post a fake high-priority Earth emergency to divert attention and hopefully send all those agents away. Lily, you'll then have to disable the security systems and tell us where to go."
He tapped at his holopad for a few seconds and pulled out earpieces for everyone before continuing.
"I've sent you the schematics for the relay station. You'll be able to communicate with us through these earpieces."
He paused for a minute, realizing the gravity of the situation.
"Let's do this."
Corey pressed another button on his holopad, and 3 seconds later, an alarm rang from the relay station.
"There's our emergency,"
uttered Dr. Mira.
"Punch it."
Corey pushed down on the gas pedal and zoomed towards the relay station. Various UGEC vehicles began flooding away from the station, all of which were headed towards the non-existent Earth emergency. The team pulled up outside the relay station's first checkpoint, and they all stepped out of the car, with the exception of Lily Bathory, who remained in the car on her laptop. As they walked up to the checkpoint, Lily's voice rang in their earpieces.
"The checkout requires a UGEC ID. Usually it needs one from a worker that's registered to have access, but I can hack it to allow any UGEC ID."
Congressman Zintharax pulled out his temporary agent ID, but Lily quickly shouted,
"No! It has to be a permanent agent's ID! Corey, use yours. I'll wipe all traces of it from the logs. Don't worry."
The congressman jumped back, and Corey scanned his ID. A green light flashed, and a small beep could be heard from the panel. The checkpoint's gate opened, and the team pressed forward. The station loomed in front of them, a monolith of reinforced steel and flashing lights. They entered the building, and its labyrinth halls presented themselves. Thankfully, Lily's reassuring voice could be heard in their earpieces.
"Okay, take 3 right turns and 1 left. You're gonna have to get into the most heavily guarded section of the entire facility. Thankfully, there's a few flaws in their planning. You can skip past a checkpoint by cutting through a high-security meeting room."
Corey, confused, asked,
"How are we supposed to get in there if it's high security?"
She responded,
"All diplomatic officials, like our very own Congressman Zintharax here, can always use their biometrics to enter the room. The system assumes they're here legitimately because they'd have to pass the first checkpoint, so it doesn't even bother checking if they have clearance to be in the facility at all."
Mira piped up,
"You're awesome, Lily."
But Lily didn't respond. She was too busy seeing what she'd have to do next. The team walked through the labyrinthian facility's seemingly endless corridors, which reminded Dr. Mira of UGEC's corridors, as they followed Lily's instructions. They found the door, which read, Meeting Room 27. Corey thought out loud, "How many meeting rooms do they have here? Damn." Congressman Xintharix scanned his thumbprint on the door's access panel. A robotic voice announced, "Access granted," and the metal doors swung open. Inside the room was a conference-style table and multiple doors. Mira asked Lily,
"Where do we go now?"
She responded,
"Just wait there for a bit. It might take me some time to bring down Door 5's security. Shit, there's movement coming towards you guys. I think there's still a skeleton crew here and they know someone's walking around. Mira and Corey, door number 7 is just a supply closet and doesn't require any special access. Hide in there. Xintharix, just act like you're supposed to be there. Say one of your co-workers left a file here the other day. Apparently there was a meeting between members of the Galactic Council and UGEC a few days ago."
The very second Mira and Corey slammed the supply closet door, the conference room's doors swung open, and 2 UGEC security guards peered into the room. Congressman Xintharix opened his mouth and prepared to use the file excuse, but before any words could come out, one of the security guards began to speak. "Congressman, good to see you. Are you here to check the communication lines?" Flustered, Xintharix didn't know how to respond. Thankfully for him, Lily's voice boomed from his earpiece.
Yes, say yes!"
So the congressman replied to the security guards with a cheery,
"Yes, of course."
The other guard gave him a confused look, which set his teeth on edge, as this mission was too important to ruin, and the guard asked, "What are you doing in here, then? The central communications hub is in the other room." Xintharix, trying to remain composed, feigned being lost, and thankfully the security guards didn't ask any more questions. Still in the supply closet, Mira asked,
"What the hell just happened?"
and Lily responded,
"This relay station acts as a node for interstellar communication, a node used even by the Galactic Council for their correspondence. Occasionally, a council member will show up unannounced to check that UGEC aren't intercepting the data. They think that's why Xintharix is here. They're taking him directly to the room we need to be in."
The guards escorted Xintharix to the central communications hub and used all their area access ID cards to enter. Lily's voice came through their earpieces once again.
"You guys are going to have to take down the cards if you want full access to the communication lines. Xintharix, cough once if the door is open and cough twice if they're facing away from it."
Xintharix cleared his throat once. The message was clear. The door to the central communications hub was open, but the guards were still on alert. Mira and Corey exchanged tense glances in the supply closet. Lily's voice crackled through the earpieces, calm but urgent.
"All right, this is go time. Corey, Mira, this isn't going to stay quiet for long. Take them out fast, but keep it clean."
Mira pulled a small energy baton from her belt, its tip sparking to life with a quiet hum. Corey unsheathed a compact stun blaster, its sleek design unmistakably UGEC tech.
"Ready?"
Mira whispered.
"Born ready,"
Corey muttered with a smirk. They eased the supply closet door open just a crack, enough to confirm the room was devoid of any more guards, and sneaked out into the now empty meeting room. They peeked around the other set of doors, checking to see if the guards were still preoccupied with Xintharix. The 2 guards stood with him at the terminal in the other room, their postures relaxed and weapons holstered. Mira signaled to Corey, 3 fingers counting down silently. 3, 2, 1. They surged into the room. Mira struck first, darting forward with precision. Her energy baton connected with the first guard's neck, delivering a sharp, silent jolt. He crumpled to the ground without a sound. The second guard reacted quickly, his hand flying to his sidearm. Corey was faster. He raised the stun blaster and fired, a pulse of blue energy knocking the guard backwards into the terminal with a grunt. Xintharix caught him before he hit the floor, lowering him gently to avoid a loud crash. "Clean enough?" Corey asked with a grin.
"Good enough," Lily replied in their ears. "Now lock the door behind you. I'll disable the external sensors to buy us a few extra minutes."
Mira stepped over the unconscious guards, her eyes scanning the terminal's glowing interface. Syntharax gestured to a recessed data port.
That's the access port, Lily. What do you need me to do?
I've already sent the program to your holopad, Lily said. Just connect it to the terminal. It'll piggyback on their systems and start pulling everything.
Syntharax plugged in his device, the connection snapping into place. Lines of code began to cascade across the terminal's screen.
It's working,
he said, relief evident in his tone.
Don't celebrate yet, Lily cut in. The moment their system detects an unauthorized data transfer, it'll send an alert to their command center. You'll have about, 10 seconds to unplug and bail.
10 seconds, Corey muttered. Plenty of time.
As the transfer completed, the terminal emitted a faint rising whine, a prelude to the impending alarm. Lily's voice came through sharply.
That's your cue! Get out, now!
Mira yanked the device free, and Corey flung the door open. The group sprinted down the corridor. Syntharax's glowing eyes scanned for obstacles ahead. Behind them, the terminal's alarm erupted into a deafening klaxon.
Guards are closing in from the west corridor,
Lily's voice called out.
Take the east exit, now!
Mira led the charge, her baton still crackling with residual energy. They rounded a corner, only to come face to face with a squad of reinforcements. Without hesitation, Mira threw herself into the fray, her baton flashing as it connected with a guard's arm. Corey fired a stun blast over her shoulder, taking down another. Syntharax, less adept at combat, backed into a corner and used his bulk to shield the holopad. One guard lunged for him, but Mira intercepted, delivering a swift kick to his chest.
Keep moving, she shouted.
The team pressed on, the cacophony of alarms and shouts echoing through the station.
Lily, where's the exit?
Corey barked.
Take the next left, she replied. A maintenance hatch leads outside. It's your best shot.
They barreled down the corridor, their pursuers hot on their heels. Mira slid to a stop at the hatch, her hands flying to the manual release. It groaned open, revealing a narrow passage leading to freedom.
Go!
She yelled, holding the hatch open as Corey and Syntharax scrambled through. A stun blast sizzled past her head, and she ducked, returning fire with her baton's alternative weapon selection in an arc that dropped 2 advancing guards. Once everyone was through, Mira dove into the passage and pulled the hatch closed behind her. For a moment, silence enveloped them, save for the sound of their ragged breathing. Lily's voice broke through.
Nice work, team, but don't relax yet. Reinforcements are already on their way. You've got the data. Now get out of there.
The team legged it to the cruiser, which Lily Bathory had already started, the engine running. Dodging stun blasts, they all jumped into the cruiser and sped off into the distance, with the guards close behind them. They all sat in tense silence as Lily tried to get the guards off their tail. After 20 minutes with no sign of the guards leaving them alone, Corey suddenly remembered what he had the power to do.
Wait, I can just give them another high-priority alert for a fake emergency,
Corey cried out, snapping his fingers. Angrily, Mira snapped back.
Seriously? You've been able to do that this time and you've only just thought to do it now?
To which he responded,
Calm down. I wasn't able to do it all this time. We've driven so far we're in Zone 12 of the country, which means that I can give a different type of alert that they'll have to go investigate.
Syntharax, confused, asked,
Why can you only do that now?
But Corey didn't respond. He was too busy programming an alert into his holopad, ready to be sent out to all UGEC security guards in the area. He muttered,
Please let this work,
before sending the alert. Unbeknownst to the team, the guards' cruisers had received the alert and were weighing up the options of continuing the pursuit or going to the high-priority emergency in Zone 12. The task sergeant of the security forces grimaced.
I think we're going to get in trouble either way, because we either let the thieves go or don't attend to the emergency. We might as well tend to the thing we were actually ordered to do.
They turned the cruiser around, heading for the emergency in Zone 12. A retrieval ship appeared above the team, thundering overhead from around a bank of clouds. They all exchanged looks of panic, expecting the worst. But before they could do anything, they heard a familiar yet unexpected voice in their earpieces. It was President Evelyn.
Well done, team. I know I said I couldn't get involved, but I can't risk you getting caught now. I think the Council are starting to get onto us. This pickup ship will bring you back to UGEC HQ safe and sound.
The team began to celebrate in the cruiser, thinking their plan was almost over and had been executed perfectly. But just moments after, they found out their celebration was premature. Congressman Syntharix disintegrated before their eyes, the holopad going with him.
Crap, I should have known,
exclaimed Mira. Corey responded, Known what? Mira slapped the center console of the vehicle.
All Galactic Council members have bracelets that can teleport them to the nearest Council base. We've been double-crossed.
Defeated, Corey realized. He had all the data on his holopad. We're screwed. The truth, however, was far worse. Congressman Syntharix materialized in Lord Metal's office. The congressman quickly realized Lord Metal had used his teleportation bracelets to bring him straight to his office. The Lord's booming voice shouted at Syntharix.
You really thought you could undermine me? You really thought I hadn't put microphones in all of your bracelets?
Before Syntharix could even get a word in, Lord Metal snatched his holopad, smashed it on his desk, and continued talking.
Congressman Syntharix, for the crime of treason against the Galactic Council, I sentence you to death.
Syntharix spoke up, his voice rising in panic.
But that's not the sentence for
Before he could continue, Lord Metal pulled out a blaster and murdered the congressman, blowing a sizzling hole into the man's chest. Syntharix's body convulsed with short jerks, the blaster bolt leaving a long streak of scorched flesh and chair leather across the clean tiles of the floor. Back at UGEC HQ, the team, minus the now-deceased congressman, were sitting around, wallowing about their failure. The only one who seemed at ease was Lily, who kept checking her holopad every 10 minutes or so, and being quite quiet. Mira looked over at her, and Lily started to grin. Mira shouted at her,
Why are you smiling? We've lost! Earth is doomed!
Lily calmly responded,
Not if I have anything to say about it,
and pulled out her holopad.
I knew there was a risk of the Council interfering, and I thought if anyone was likely to double-cross us, it would be the congressman from the Council. So I made you all, including him, think he had the data on his holopad, when in actuality I'd set it up to automatically transfer to mine. It's been decrypting this whole time, but I didn't want to accidentally jump the shark by talking about it and some other double agent getting their hands on it. And it's almost done. Surprise!
Mira, overjoyed, shouted,
Hell yeah, Lily!
And then asked,
Is it done decrypting?
Without saying a word, Lily held up her holopad, and both Mira and Corey read its contents out loud. Content decryption, 100% completed. The three of them cheered and high-fived. Lily plugged her holopad into a computer screen in the room and began sprawling through the data while Mira and Corey began plotting on how to get the information out to the galaxies. Mira started first.
We could hijack the Galactic Council's broadcast systems and release everything that way.
Corey cocked an eyebrow.
Another break-in? You really like tempting fate, don't you? Besides, with whatever Syntharix told them, I'm sure they're on high alert for us now.
Lily shouted from her computer screen.
Got it! Direct communications between Lord Metal and the Space Org.
Mira butted in.
His military?
Lily continued.
Yes, direct communications between them about invading Earth. Now how are we going to get this out there?
A voice boomed from the doorway.
I believe I could help with that.
It was Primarch Valith Solarin, the 4th Sector Council member who'd tipped Mira off about the invasion plot in the first place.
One of the things that the 4th Sector is in charge of is communications. I can get a video message to play on every single broadcast receiver in both galaxies.
Startled, Mira asked,
Who's going to do the video message?
Lily responded,
It's obviously gonna be you. Little Miss Earth is a planet too.
The Primarch pulled out an oddly older-looking video camera and pointed it at Mira with a wink. "You've got this." Mira's words would be heard across the galaxies, though the quality raised questions due to the use of a harder-to-track, old-age human recording device. Almost 80% of all the planets and properties under Council rule immediately decided to rise up against Lord Metal and help save Earth, while others still watched, wondering who was going to come out on top. Just before the combined army of the rebelling planets bashed down his door, Lord Metal lived up to his rather nefarious, if somewhat cliched, name. With a few swift presses of a control pad, he dismantled the Council and flushed every system he had of the information they held, making sure that nothing could be ripped out and read by anyone skilled enough to go digging around in them. His parachute, as he called it, was a large machine that had only arrived a few weeks ago, smuggled in from one of the few still loyal council members and their planet. He hopped into the experimental multi-thread teleporter with an annoyed huff, checked his emergency extraction bags, and hit the button as soon as the door came smashing down into his office. The once vengeful soldiers were left confused with a mere shadow of Lord Metal on the wall as the device spun to life and ripped him from the room. His current whereabouts remain unknown.